6'6", 328 pounds, out of Florida. Camron Jackson, we got you. You're up. Let's go. What's up, everybody? Carolina Keith, regular Keith, Professor Keith, just Keith. I'm cool with that, too. Good to see you all. Got a new video for you and a new cat crawling on me, by the way. That's the wife's decision. Anyway, good to see you all. Let's get into the stuff. Always, like we say when we go looking for players like this, we're going to go athleticism, production, and film. Look at all three. Hit the trifecta. See what we got. Now, we drafted Cam Jackson 140 in the 5th round. I think we got a steal in the 5th round. While you're not going to get a ton of pass rush production, he's in there to stop the run, to crunch those running backs in, keep them inside the tackle box. And anytime someone comes inside that tackle box, he's the guy that's going to get a hand on them. You'll see what I mean when we watch the film. That being said, let's get into the athleticism, the production, and the film. All right, you guys know it's a data-first approach. First data point is always going to be our athletic testing. They found significant correlation from athletic testing to play on the field regarding how much your production will come in and how effective you play based on where you get drafted, right? So if you're a top-tier athlete, you tend to go a little higher in the draft. If you're a lower-tier athlete, well, you tend to slide some. As we see here, Camron Jackson didn't grade incredibly well at a lot of things. He did grade well in height and weight. Very good. He didn't do the bench press, which was a little bit of an oddity. Usually those defensive tackles like to do that bench press. He was either injured and or didn't want to have bad numbers and affect his draft stock. He did end up falling all the way back to us, so I would say it did get affected. That's just my opinion on that one, though. It's subjective. But, hey, look, his vertical and his broad, very poor. He's not going to jump off the screen at you, right? 40, 20, and 10-yard split are all just okay. They're all just okay. Arm length, good. Hand size, okay. Shuttle, not good enough. And he didn't even do the 3-cone. So, incomplete athletic profile, but what we do have is somewhat below average. Now, the problem with that is if you compare that in with what he does, he's more of a 1-tech, not a 3-tech. And there's separate categories for these guys. And I'll show you what I mean now. All right, here's a very bright picture of athletic production for interior defensive linemen. You see it right there. From the last 10 years, and you see all the guys in the background who are in lighter shade of the same font. But this gives us an idea of their production and their athleticism combined and shows us where they fall on the chart. Adjusted athletic score right here on the left. That's our x-axis, our up and down. And our y-axis is our production along the bottom. Look at some of the names he's near. Kenneth Grant was a first-round defensive tackle out of Michigan. You guys remember that. And I didn't have him graded as a first-round defensive tackle. I thought he was a second-rounder. Probably be a good player. I'm not saying he won't, but I thought there were better guys in front of him. Still, Camron Jackson had slightly better athletic profile than Kenneth Grant with a very comparable amount of production, all right? And to get him when we got him in the 5th round versus the 1st round, I mean, to me, that sounds like a good deal. Look at the other guys. Walter Nolan, also a 1st rounder. Look at Aiden Huntington. Derek Harmon, I think, was a 2nd rounder. Deion Walker, a 2nd or 3rd rounder. Darius Alexander, TJ Sanders, Mason Graham, all the way over here in a stratosphere, different from everyone else. But please understand there's always one outlier, and I still think Mason Graham peaked in college. I think you're going to get good years out of him, but not what you think you're going to get out of him for many, many, many years. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I think he will be productive at first. Camron Jackson, again, what he gave was pretty good, but this is in comparison to all defensive tackles. What if it's just nose tackles? Now, this is a chart showing why I think it's important that he plays nose tackle, the 1-tech, not the 3-tech or the 5-tech like some other guys we have, right? Derek Brown plays the 3-tech. Whole bunch of hype around those guys. Chris Jones, they get paid a lot of money. We recently tried to get some on our team, didn't end up signing with us and ended up using us to get more money elsewhere. But that's because they're in such high demand. A good pass rushing interior defensive lineman is a bit rare. Look at the numbers he has here versus players drafted since 2020. Look, there's only a few guys in front of him. Kenneth Grant and Tyleik Williams from this draft Alfred Collins from this draft, who all three went higher than him, and then Camron Jackson in here amongst all these other guys. And there's their Stackhouse, Keandre Coburn. Look, I mean, Bobby Brown, Gerard Clark, these guys already play in the league now. They already play in the league now, and he's ranked higher than them based on production, right? If you put him in there at the one tech, especially if we have a problem with our starter, Bobby Brown, who's also on our team now, then he's a reliable person you can put in there to make sure they don't run up the middle. And now here's an interesting look. This is Camron Jackson circled here, and note that this is looking at production profiles for this class that we just had. We drafted Camron Jackson compared to the previous 9 years. Look at how well he stacks up production-wise on the run defense production versus all these other defensive linemen. Now, obviously, pass rush, he's below the threshold. Okay, that's not his thing. His thing is run stopping. He's in there to make sure you don't run up the middle. In fact, if you try to run at any point between either guard, he's going to come after your guy, and he's probably going to get a hand on him. And that's what these charts indicate to us. Yes, lack of pass rush. I think he could change that a little bit, but he's there to stop the run. Now, notice that when it comes to nose tackle, it's much more highlighted and more niche to have certain positions athletically over others. Speed being the 40 and the 10-yard split. You'll see on film shortly why I say that. Explosiveness, the bench, the vertical, and the broad, all very important. And also the three-cone and shuttle. I'll drop the camera off so you can see it. There you go. The three-cone and shuttle right here. Also very important. And it's of note that he didn't do the three-cone and he didn't do the bench press. Two things that are of the most importance for defensive tackle. All right, this is right off of the Panthers highlight film that they posted on YouTube. First clip. Watch what Camron Jackson does to this center. This is why I think he would be a better nose tackle than three tech. And unfortunately, I think he'll probably be playing three tech. But I hope he gets to play one tech. We already have a starter at one tech on the Panthers. But watch what he does at the center. This is why you can't put him one-on-one. A swing and a miss. My goodness. Just immediately. Swoop. Like nothing happened. Threw him to the side. Center knew what he was supposed to be doing. Had him squared up. Nope. And then watch the pursuit. Didn't get outran. Didn't get run away from. Everything you want to see from a one tech. Again, this time he's lined up as in between a one and a three tech. He's over the guard here. He'd be a DT, just a standard DT in this spot here. Kind of a little bit of a hybrid spot for him, though. Instead of being lined up over the center or over the one gap like he would normally be, you can see he's over the guard instead. Again, ball's already been snapped. That's how fast this play went. But they've got a little bit of eye candy coming from the side. They've got an extra flanker on this side, showing that they maybe want to run it this way and maybe pull some guards. Watch what Camron Jackson does to disrupt this play. Ball snapped. Immediately shucks the guard who knew, oh, I've got him. I can't get beat here. Can't get beat here. Woof. And look, there's a tight end back there too. The same guy who showed like he was going to help the edge now goes back over the middle to help also stop Camron Jackson. He whiffs on that guy too. Hey, I'm going to go get the linebacker instead of the massive defensive tackle. He's already in the backfield. He's already wrapped you up. He's already got you. This is where he's best. Let him run attack. Let him rush attack. As soon as they know they're in a run set, turn him loose. Again, he's not going to be a big monster pass rusher. That's not really his thing. But if you put him in the one gap, he's going to make a play. And now if there's one thing you want to see a one tech really get down with, it's this move right here. Cam Jackson's lined up over the center in the one tech where I think he'll play most of his snaps in the NFL. Watch this push he gets on this offensive lineman. Do this on pass plays. Do what we saw earlier on run plays. I don't need you to put up stats. I just need you to do this. Watch him just bulldoze that offensive guard. Sorry, sir, you're going backwards 6 yards. And no, he doesn't get the sack. Doesn't matter. I don't care about that. See the offensive lineman over here at the 25, 26-yard line. Going to end up all the way back on the 20. And he knew he was coming. He even had a little bit of a double team. My goodness. He doesn't get the sack. Not the point. And you're bull rushing an offensive guard that plays for LSU on a national championship contending team. Hey, man, you can play on my team. This is where Camron Jackson's best, when he sets the anchor. And by setting the anchor, I mean he digs his heels in, locks his knees and his hips out, creates an arch from his legs all the way up to his head, uses his lateral push to get the offensive players off and move the line back rather than be pushed back. It was one of the problems that we had on defense last year, was getting defensive line pushed backwards. We didn't have any penetration from the defensive line into the offensive backfield ever. Watch this. They're going to try to tandem block him. Watch him shuck this defender. Watch him drop the anchor. Right here it comes. He's going to set his feet. You're going to see him make that arch. Raises his arm up, not having it. This is a one grown man throwing another grown man to the side. Squeezes in there, and they even had another pulling offensive lineman there, attempting to sneak in and get the block. See, watch, you got tandem offensive linemen coming inside here, trying to create a pinch point, and Cam Jackson blows this up by himself. Nope. Shut her down. He's too big, too heavy. If he's going to do that, plus the other stuff, I don't need you to pass rush. Just do that. So the knock on this game would be his pass rush. All right. I think at times he played out of position at Florida, and playing with some other guys gave those guys a bit more glory, like Princely Uman-Malin that we have on the team now. He played with them, right? He played on the inside. But I wanted you to see what he can do, what his best strong point of pass rush is. That's just a straight up bull rush. 1-on-1, I know I'm going against you, and he pushes you back into the quarterback. It's not like he's going to hit you with a flurry of pass moves. And his hand placement can be a bit odd at times. Where he beats you is with his strength and physicality, right? If he can improve on a couple little things like his hand positioning, maybe having a secondary move, plus adding that to the bull rush that he has, he can get more pass rush production. It's not out of the question. However, here's one of the very few sack highlights that you'll see from him. You see he was lined up kind of over on the one gap of the left side of the line. It's a bit of a stunt. 35 goes inside. Jackson rolls outside, and he's going to kind of stunt on the edge over here. It's a guard center stunt. It's a DT stunt. He's going to come around and attack this guard, and watch what he does to him. I think I'll just take you backwards 4.5 yards. Watch that again. Back it up a little bit. There we go. Jackson just pushes him straight back like he wasn't even there. Again, this is not every play. Most of the time he actually wasn't even in there on pass rush sets. But I think with some slight tweaks, his numbers could be much better. Another wild rep for Cam Jackson. Lined up in the one gap. Watch him take on the guard. Shuck the blocker and drop ETN here. Crazy rep. There's the snap. Shucks the double. Shucks the guard. Right there on ETN's face. Great play. They tried the tandem block. Didn't work. He threw the guard down. He just threw him down. Goodness. I know they got positive yards, but that was a double team tandem block on him where the guy tried to go to the next level. Cam Jackson wasn't having it. Jeez. Okay, so another one of his good moves is, since he doesn't have a secondary pass move that's a go-to, and his bull rush might not work, he's very good at getting his hands up and or running when he doesn't get to the quarterback. He keeps an active eyes. You know, he's watching what's going on constantly. He doesn't get lost in the play. On this play, you'll see he doesn't even get a pass rush at all, honestly. He just occupies an offensive lineman. Then he realizes the pass is out, and watch the pursuit that he has. It's right here, again, in the one gap of the left side of the line, playing one tech here, which is I think his position. There's a snap. Really doesn't get a pass rush. I mean, there's some push there. He got him back a few yards, but please realize that it's a pass rush set. and that offensive lineman is dropping back on purpose, to kind of withstand the blow. It gets swung out, but he's already on it. He's already looking at where the ball went. Again, not lost in the play. Good recognition. The pursuit. Boom. And that's a big boy. That's a big boy coming from one tech defensive tackle from 3 yards back all the way out 5 yards back. It's an 8-yard, 10-yard sprint. You ever wonder why that 10-yard split is so important for the 40s and the 20-yard split is so important for the 40s that they do at the combine? Now you know. They want to know where that explosion and that burst is. All right, so you saw the film. That's Camron Jackson. I like his style. Knowing that we were one of the worst rush and stop teams in the league last year and one of the worst defenses historically in the history of the NFL, technically the worst, but you could argue that maybe we were slightly 1 or 2 above the worst. Either way, we were pretty terrible, and it all started on that defensive line. I love the fact that Dan Morgan gave attention to that. Let's stop the run. Let's force the pass. And then let's rush the passer by drafting 2 more guys to rush the passer who are both athletically inclined and have pretty good production. So with that, thank you guys for watching. Appreciate all the views and comments. It's actually really awesome to see. Please go hit like, sub to the video, follow along if you see this on X. Thank y'all fellas. I'm out. See you next time. Peace.